it is a grown-up live-action Disney film before Disney decided to do grown-up live action, and it's so very sweet. It's like, I don't know, the grown-up like cousin of the Never-Ending Story to me. There's something about it that is so sweet and beautiful. I remember the first time I watched it, it was a late night. I'm home alone. It's on, and so I'm like, well, let me just watch this one. I didn't see it in the theater. Let me just watch it, and I loved it. I couldn't understand why people didn't, and I'm just like, this is the sequel in terms of context to Unbreakable. People didn't get it. They didn't understand why they should like this, and I won't fault them for it, but I will definitely point at them and go, you guys just didn't get it. You didn't get what was so great about it.
It's just, I think the narrative was being set at the time. People were like sort of filled with hate, but you watch you know what sells me on that movie is how committed Giamatti and all the actors are.
Oh,
I mean, they had 100% faith in M. Night. 100%.
Yep.
They put everything they had into his vision. And that's a set I want to be on. That's trust I want. Yeah. And I loved it. I thought and he put Paul Giamatti in a lead role. Like, that's pretty cool.
Come on. And it works, right? Like, in such a way that it's not, super self-defacing at all. He becomes a character that grows and thrives and becomes the hero that everybody needs him to be. I do think, like, you're absolutely right. The dogpiling was beginning because this is after The Village. And when you have a movie that is marketed one way and the actual execution is so very different from what it was marketed, people got upset and they were jaded. And this is the next feature. And so they really kind of...
It's the exact wrong feature, too, because it's earnest and it's a fairy tale.
Right! Like, you guys came in super cynical on something that you needed to have your childlike innocence, and you missed it. You absolutely missed it.
People, why does that guy have the big arm? I'm like, come on, guys, it's a fairy tale. It's like, I know this sounds crazy, man, and I don't know how you feel about it, but Tenet, I watched Tenet, and I was like, okay, this is about two groups from the future. Have you seen it? Oh, he's like, this is about two groups from the future going to the past, one trying to eradicate humanity, one trying to stop them because of what happens in the future. It can be broken down quite simply, but people watch it like, I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on. What is and Wonder Woman 84, they're like, I don't understand what's happening. I'm like, no, a guy gets wishes and he turns into this monster because of all that kind of stuff. Like, it's very easy to understand. Like no half measures. And it's just, but sometimes this narrative gets set and people don't want to like it. I don't know. I don't know.
No. Here's the plea. Here's the absolute plea to the critical community is, when you don't like something, I need you to effectively self-reflect on why you don't like it. And is it actually the thing you don't like, or are you influenced by any outside sentiment, statement, what have you, that is jaundicing your impression of this thing? I didn't like it. It has very little to do with the not understanding, how this happened. It's not the story that I would have wanted, because the portrayal of Diana is not my favorite. Like, Wonder Woman is one of my favorite characters. So I have a set idea of what I expect Diana to act like. If you fall short of that without a justification, I don't like it.
There's some weird bits in that movie, for sure. But you understand it, right? But it's still like, don't tell me you don't understand it. Like, you can say, listen, Diana is not like what the Chris Pine angle. I get it. Like, I 100% get it. But it's about no half measures and like that kind of stuff. Like, it's not hard to understand.
Right. They didn't forget to tell you this thing, and therefore you're missing this information. It's whether or not you liked what they told you. That's all it is, right? So if you're, again, like you said, if you say, I don't understand, you weren't paying attention. And it's not the filmmaker's fault. That is actually yours. That is actually yours.
All right, so I guess I got to finish up with Glass, because that was an event film. Glass was an event film. It made $247 million. It was, okay, guess the budget of Glass.
What was it?
20. But that's still nothing. That's nothing.
Dang. That is, for a superhero movie, the end part of a trilogy, that is literally... if I'm not mistaken, 20 million, Robert Downey Jr. got more than 20 million to be in
2.5 that. He got like 50 million back end. Like, it's...
See?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so they made a whole movie off of what one dude would get in another franchise. Like,
It's 20 million. And you have A-listers. You have Bruce Willis, Sam Jackson,
Brilliant.
McAvoy,
Yes.
Anna Taylor-Joy, who was huge
Yes.
at the time. I mean, you
Yes.
had a who's who of people. And he refused.
What's the doctor?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, she's so good. American Horror Story. And
yes.
Yeah.
She's huge.
And
love her.
The ending, they refused to go to the city and smash up Philly. They just stuck at that place, and Mr. Glass had planned that out. Like, it's just and like there's a group of people out there want to stop him. Like, it's just it was an event film for me. It was a $20 million movie that I'm not being provocative here. I think sometimes people are provocative when they talk about movies, but this was kind of like the most anticipated movie of the year for me because I loved Unbreakable. I think Mr. Glass is one of my favorite villains ever. With the whole, my bones break, so there must be somebody who's opposite that. Like it's beautiful. So this was the event. So I know I picked it at 5.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's not. I don't like it as much as Unbreakable, so I had to kind of put it there. But
no, I get that.
And
it was hard for me not to just ride the Unbreakable trilogy team in there myself. I'm not gonna lie, that was really hard for me to do. But the thing that I love about Glass is the subjugation of expectations. This is a movie that required the interim 20 years to happen between Unbreakable and Glass to build the expectation of what the end of a superhero trilogy movie was going to be. We needed to have an end game set up. We needed to have this concept of, it's going to be this big knockdown, drag out fight. But the truth is, if people fought in reality, it's going to be something quiet. It's not going to be tearing down buildings. Even if people had powers, like, it would be so localized. It's not funny. Like, that's the thing. As I said before, my interest in Man of Steel, when people think of the physics of these things, they go bombastic, but they really don't think logistically. If Superman as a super strong person punches a regular person, they get obliterated. Like, it's a mess. So if you take somebody that is as powerful as Superman and he punches him, it's just going to look like if a regular person punches a regular person. It's not going to knock him into a building because their strength factor is the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we overinflated, like, because he's so powerful, his punch is going to execute on this matching person with this greater scheme. It's like, no, it would be like two regular people fighting each other because they're now equal. It's different, of course, if somebody is more powerful than Superman and punches him. But if you're the same power level, it's going to look like regular people.
That's a great point. Yeah, if you and I got into a fight and you punch me, the way I'd go flying is that you hit me hard enough for me to just backpedal for 20 feet and then land on like a big cake. I don't know why I'm landing on a cake, but that's the way I see it. I'm not going to go flying through the Chrysler building.
Yeah, definitely a cake. Definitely a cake.
Yeah.
No. Maybe on the basis of my strength level or your strength level, if I hit you and you stumble back and you fall on a thing,
a catapult.
Then you'll probably break that thing. But you're not gonna. I'll hit you and the leg of that building is gonna go out. No, you're gonna be like, oh, that was a good one. Yeah. And it's
true.
That's the strength factor. But again, movie making, you got to put some of that stuff aside. But that's what I loved about Glass is that they did that. It was like, this is a real fight.
Yeah.
It's a real fight. That's all.
No one's flying 100 yards.
No.
Well, this was fun. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about The Visit here. I'm really glad we did this. And I've been wanting to get like a lot of this M. Night stuff off my chest for a long time. So I'm glad we discussed it.
Yes. I'm glad to, be a mutual fan because I'm sure because it's so in vogue, they're like, M. Night, to find people that are like, no, I love his work. Catalog, full catalog. We're not cherry picking. We're not being like, well, he was good up until. No. He's good. Period.
You know what? Okay. I look at directors the way I look at baseball. What's the best batting average ever in baseball, would you say? I mean, this is a crazy question to ask you. But like Ichiro hitting singles every day. Like it's well, let's say 378. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Okay.
That's not 1,000. That's not perfect.
No.
So you got like that. The best baseball player hit 378, and I could be wrong with it. 417. I don't know. That's still not even 50%.
Right.
So you gotta. I don't know.
You gotta give it that room.
Yeah,
man.
It's
Come on.
I don't know. Like Ichiro has a bad game, and people are like, he's a bum. I mean, it's not.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, like, oh, this guy's terrible. I hate him. He only hits singles. But yeah, I don't know. That's the way I look at it. Like LeBron James, Michael Jordan doesn't have a 100% shooting percentage, so why should I know they shoot a lot more, but whatever. But it's
but why
exactly.
should anybody? Like that's how do you look? I put it like this: how do you value making the shot if you never miss?
Exactly. That's why M. Night values everything.
We saw that
now.
Yes, because he was at the top. He saw that the air is super thin up there, and he came back down and was like, I'm gonna just try these hills. I'm gonna just try these.
Interesting with David Fincher. He had Alien 3 early, and he got that out of the way and went on a run. Yeah. And then you have Spielberg, who had 1941 quite early-ish in his career. Then he went on a run. I think sometimes you get super hot directors who make a flop, and people just dogpile them. But when you're early in your career, when you haven't had those, like, it's good to get that out. Like, M. Night got the massive flops out sort of late in his career. Right. So then people just really were against him because they're so used to the hype. So it's almost good to get your dud out of the way in the beginning and learn from that.
It really is. I mean, granted, you can't necessarily know if it's going to be a dud, but I think, with Spielberg, like how many things Spielberg has been attached to that he was supposed to direct and didn't for whatever reason, eliminated the idea of his fall from grace throughout the years. Like, I think Spielberg was very lucky that, at the time of his runs, when it came to potential duds, he had the ability to step back and go, no, I'm not taking that. M. Night hit so hard right away that I don't think he ever got to the place where he could go, I'm not going to do that one. No, I'm good. I don't want to do that. Until there was a couple of, flops. But even then, the flop was in the matter of the reception of the thing. And I'm hard pressed to say in the execution. Go into The Happening. The worst thing about The Happening is that for a B movie, it's shot too well. It's too pretty for a B movie.
Yeah.
If that's your failure, that's not a failure, man. Like, that's your artwork is too good to be this sloppy, alternative underground thing that you're aiming for. Sorry.
He made it too clean almost, like too good looking.
Right.
Oh, before we get out of here, I just want to drop a cool stat on you. Yeah. The tomato meter for his movies with budgets under 50 million is 55%. And the budget over 50 million is only 38%. So that's a pretty big swing. So he definitely he's stronger in the lesser budgeted films, which I think is quite interesting.
Yep. He does more with less. Cool. And knowing that has me excited for Old.
Be good.
Small cast, single location.
Good actors. Well, hey, so I'm gonna make sure to put all of your stuff in the post when I put it on MFF, when I put it out there for everyone to listen to. But do you want to promote your everything you got so far? Like, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Find me. I'm a self-publishing comic book creator. My imprint is called Vantage In-House Productions. You can follow me on all forms of social media at Vantage In-House, all one word, VANTAGEINHOUSE. Right now, and depending on when you're hearing this, I have a Kickstarter. It's called the VIP Phase 2 in 1, where I am bringing 2 new comic book projects to life in one campaign. I got told by a lot of people that, bringing one book to life is really hard. And if I'm the hardest working man in comics, I got to try for 2. So I'm trying to expand my universe. Again, self-contained stories that actually connect to create a bigger shared multiverse. So if you like one title, you don't necessarily want to follow another one, that's cool. We have something for everybody. Just pick your taste, find the thing that fits it, and we will serve.
Jet Ski Twins, right? That's the name of one of them.
Oh my God, it's coming. Hey, listen, you keep talking about jet skis. You see how they're in the zeitgeist. They popped up in Loki as a conversation piece. I think you're onto something. Jet skis is the future.
Go to Vista Del Mar. It's my favorite movie of 2021. Beautiful jet ski gag. And then you got Loki. I mean, there's jet skis everywhere.
Come on. Everywhere. You called it, man. You called it.
I got enough out there, too. So when these things hit, people are going to read all my stuff.
And they'll be like, this guy, he knew. It's like, Mark.
Jet ski Damas.
Recognize. Please put that on something. Jet ski Damas has to have hashtag.
Oh, yeah. I'll start You know what? I'm going to start hashtagging things. That's hilarious. Yes. All right, man. Well, thank you for joining me, Victor. All right,
thank you,
for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Victor Dandridge, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.